What's up everybody, it's A.D.D Beats. I'm back here today with another beat for you guys. Today we're gonna go through how to make a trap beat on Maschine. I have my micro MK3 here on the Maschine software. I'm gonna run down how to make a beat, and obviously there's a million different types of trap. There's different flows, styles. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through one that I personally enjoy making. I'm going to walk you through that process. Hopefully I can get through the entire beat this time. Last time my computer crashed, so let's get into it. I got sent this crazy MIDI and some stems to make a good guitar melody. So I'm going to start with that and then add to it with some synth. Then we're going to go right into the beat and then lay it out. Let's look at this melody though. Okay, so I just pulled up Serato sample and here's this guitar loop that I got. You know I gotta shout out Cymatics. I'll be using their packs constantly. Their kids come through. They got the main melody or even a secondary or triad melody for me at almost any time I need it. So I'm gonna mess with this a tiny bit and then we're gonna put it in as an audio. Keep it regular. I'm gonna keep it around 121 BPM. Usually a lot of the faster trap is around like 150. If you're looking for that, definitely go around 150 and I can show you what that looks like for sure. But I'm gonna keep it around 121 BPM. So I just put the melody in, keeping it at 121. It's a little bit fast. So I really just did a quick took out and then added some effects up here. The Q10 equalizer's main preset of acoustic guitar, just like this. Pulled this up a little bit and I took this just a tiny bit down and waved it out. So this is going to give your bass a lot of room while still enhancing the audio of the overall melody. Next up, I just put a tiny bit of reverb on it. As you can see, not a lot. I wanted a secondary melody. I just got just like this. Real quick secondary melody. I put in a synthier sound. I was using Cloud Supply from Native Instruments. It's a pretty good plugin. I like it a lot. I actually use it a lot for drill more than anything, but it came in clutch right now, so I'll show you what it sounds like. And that combined with the main melody sounds like. So as you can see, I have a pusher, which I usually use for like drums. What I kind of did was I used it in a weird way to enhance the high end, and then I EQ'd out some of the low end again. I wanted to keep it out of the guitar space as well, so I put it right under the guitar, added some reverb. Sounds pretty good. Now that we have those two going, Cymatics also has something that goes with this guitar, and it's a vocal synth. So I'm gonna add in that for a secondary part. So I'm gonna add another group and then go find it. Along the way while looking for it, I actually found this, which is, I don't even know what this is from, but it's in the same key, so I tried it, and it does sound pretty good as well. There's a point in time where I could use this similar sound in something like a bridge, or the intro or outro. We'll see. I'm not really gonna add any effects to this right now. What I think I might do is try to hollow it out and widen it as much as possible, and it'll become kind of like this airy pluck that will just sit in the background throughout some type of interludal part of the song. So here's the vocal that I said that they had within this pack. And once again, I'm gonna use this mostly as a texture. Now that I can confidently say that we have the melody down, let's start the drums. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the clap. Pretty easy. Next up is gonna be the hi-hat. For this, you can just like play straight notes, like you could just be like. But to be completely honest with you, not always is that the best idea. Hi-hat in a trap is kind of the bounce. So if you want to create bounce, you kind of have to make something out of it. You can't just hit a couple rolls and be like, wow, that's the best hi-hat I've ever heard. So I kind of like create some bounce. I'll show you what that looks like. After you quantize it, you get your main pattern. I would go into keyboard mode, right? I put it down a couple so that it's lower than your original hi-hat. So then you have all of this range to work with. Then go shift, note, repeat, which brings up the art. And then you can do rolls. So then you press the arrow a couple times, the 16th, the 32nd note, or even just an eighth, and I would incorporate certain sounds from that, add some flair, you know? And then before you press shift quantize. After you do this, I use 64, 32. Over here is what you're quantizing to. Put that to 64. Shift quantize. And then all I have to do is take these down a tiny bit so they aren't taking over the main one. Just change it around so they're not consistent completely like this. Consistency is not key when it comes to the velocity of a hi-hat. Alright, next up I'm going to do my open hi-hat. Alright, so next up, we're going to do the 808. For the 808, you have to obviously have more patterns than what I have here, but I want to start with something that really hits. So I'm going to find a bass that's within the tune and just rip it. Alright, so after a lot of sound design, this is the 808 I went for this beat. Although Maschine has this feature where you're basically always in key, a lot of times people tune it up just so you know that you're getting it in key. So that's usually what I do. I play it out to get the feel for the 808, and then after that, I'll bring it back down, see how it sounds. Maybe I'll adjust it, maybe I won't, we'll see. We have a pretty decent 808. The melody's done. The drums are done. All we need left is a kick. So let's put that in real quick. Alright, how's it sound so far? Real quick, we'll do a layout and find out. Oh, that's pretty sick. Alright, next up, all we gotta do is do a little bit of mixing, then layout, we'll be set. Alright guys, so I just did a little bit of editing, and I got a little bit carried away. I made a bunch of different patterns, some extra scenes, and I even laid out a little bit overall. Not a lot, it's probably about like a minute, not even. But to say the least, I have a lot to explain. So let's start off with what I did first. So these 3 scenes. I decided to make a 4th scene, which means instead of using this regular drum pattern, I'll solo this out. I decided to simplify it, and that's the same with the 808 as well. But for this, I just simplified it pretty easily. As you can see, hi-hats are a lot less extreme. Kick, a lot less of it. Everything really, I guess, is a lot less. As you'll be able to hear with this, there is a big difference between pattern 1 and pattern 2, as you can just see. But I'll play the difference right now. And of course, pattern 2. And even with this, I did try to keep it lightly complex here at the end. I didn't want to let it ruin it, so I could actually have some build up and momentum back to scene 3. I decided I wanted a tiny bit of drums on the intro. I put them in, just the regular kit, and then I put this effects filter, and then I filtered it up EP2. So it's really just like a couple effects. Each one of them has it. Just makes it really filtered out. It takes a lot of the sound out of it while keeping the main structural components of it in. Super filtered out. So there's intro 1 and then intro 2. And there it is. It adds a decent amount. It is, like, I'd say very useful in the spot that it's in. This might be something I use later. I'm probably not going to use it though. So right now we have a one which is our main melody, a secondary melody, our triad melody, our background vocals, 2 patterns of drums, 2 patterns of an 808, and then an intro drum kit. Our scenes are as follows: intro, intro 2, chorus, verse, bridge. Let's see how all that sounds together. There are a couple more notes I wanted to make regarding specifically the 808. I thought about changing the sound a little bit. I actually ended up not doing that. Also on this, I took out the Cymatics filter on it. Wasn't doing the job for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on here and duplicate the numero uno. And if you want to redo something, you just delete and redo it. You bam, you highlight it, delete it. Pretty easy. Let me come back to you with a couple more ideas. Then we're going to fully lay out. I'm going to get some effects on a track, double check our mix, and then we'll be all set. Alright, I just made one more option for a bridge. What I did is I added in my 2 main patterns as well as my vocal. Instead of putting in the 808, I instead put in this synth bass. These types of basses are so underrated, especially in trap. I see a lot of people make trap and they put on 1/808 and they keep it at 1/808, and I hate it. There's so much versatility that you can get with a synth bass. You're allowed to have more than one bass. You're allowed to switch it up. You're allowed to switch up your main melody. I don't have to play this all the time. As you can see, I actually already took it out of pattern 5. I hated that it was in C and 5. It was playing way too much. And I can guarantee you, because I have so many melodies that I do not need it, it won't be noticed. That is some effects time, and we got ourselves a beat. I'm going to open this up. I'm just going to throw in a couple of effects. We'll see what I can come up with. So I think I have everything. I have some effects now. I think I have it all laid out. So I'm just going to time it, make sure everything's okay. If I need to add another section or 2, I will. Sounds pretty good to me though. Once it's done, it's done. And then we can export it. It's a perfect beat. Just got to mix it after this. Alright, sounds good to me. Time for the export. Thank you guys for coming out. I obviously can do any other trap beat that you guys want. If you want an explanation for any of those within Maschine, or just in general, just let me know. I can do them. I got a couple requests, one of which is for a boom bap. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna do a couple samples with it as well. Thanks again for coming out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Subscribe if you'd like. If not, that's fine by me. Peace.